Hi everyone, Mr. Silbaugh here, and this is my take on Unit 10, Lesson 7. Alright, so this whole section is about file formats and active content. Some of this is going to be a review, some of this will be relatively fresh for you, and some of this will be completely new to you. Some of it was completely new to me, and I've been doing this for a while. So your web servers, they can provide more than just pages that are created in markup languages like HTML. Whenever you build a web page or a website, you're going to have additional documents and file types that are going to go into your pages. Like you may post a Word document that you want someone to download and fill out. That's totally fine and totally possible. You just have to include it in your files for your web page. So you need to keep in mind what types of files you're uploading. All the file types you insert have a specific MIME type. We talked about MIMEs way back in Unit 1, I believe. And so you remember this is the protocol that helps the OS to map the file name to the extension. Essentially, you have the file, and then you have the program that's going to run it. The MIME runs between the both of them in order to link it so that the file will say, hey, I'm a Microsoft Word file. I need to open up in Microsoft Word. That's what the MIME does. Okay. The Internet Assigned Numbers Authority, IANA, sets these MIME types. And the next few slides, and there's a few of them, are going to go over some of the more common MIME types that you're going to see in web design and web development. However, you won't use all of them, and some you may use many times. If you're curious about the additional types, because I'm only going to cover some of the basic types, you can check out their website, and they will have more about that. So the first type is HTML. Let's start familiar. The name extension we know, .html, .htm. These are your HTML files, and they're text HTML. That's your MIME type. So the column on the left is what type of file it is. The second column is the extension. The description, give you a little bit more about it, and then the MIME type. XHTML, it has multiple name extensions as you see. The most common ones, .xhtml, and these are XHTML files. Remember, XHTML is the data to describe the HTML file. So keep that in mind if you do use that. Next is Joint Photographic Experts Group, or as we call them, JPEGs. .jpeg or .jpg. This is a standard web page image format. You're familiar with JPEGs. The MIME type is image JPEG. And the next one is graphics interchange format, or GIFs. You're familiar with this one as well, .gif. This is a standard web page internet format. Remember, there's two types. And remember, animated GIFs show embedded images and create motion. GIFs are not movies. They are just images played in order, and they create the sense of motion and animation. The MIME type for this one is image/GIF. Next is Portable Network Graphics, or PNG. This is a .png file. This is the newest standard web page image format. .pngs are starting to become more and more popular. The MIME type for this is image PNG. Text files, .txt. This is just a standard basic text file like you would do in Notepad. And this is just, the MIME type is text plain. Cascading style sheets, CSS. .css is the name extension. Remember, this is formatting in text files, and we can attach it to our HTML files to give our HTML files a little bit more design. The MIME type here is text CSS. Next is rich text format, or .rtf. These are documents that contain simple formatting like bold, italic, underline, very basic formatting. The MIME type is text RTF. Postscript.ps. This is a language designed to describe page formatting for text and graphics. The MIME type is application PostScript. And then we have portable document formats, or PDFs. .pdf. This is Adobe Acrobat proprietary format, and it can retain sophisticated formatting. That's one of the best things about PDFs, is it keeps everything in order for you. and doesn't, when you open it on another system, the format doesn't change. The MIME type is application slash PDF. Zip files, .zip, these are files that are compressed using the zip unzip family of file applications. MIME type's application slash zip. You can zip files in order to keep them together. Zipping files together compresses them, that makes them smaller, and then you have to unzip them when you download them. Next is Pretty Good Privacy, PGP, and GNU Privacy Guard. This one was a new one to me. These are just files that are encrypted. That's all that the text really describes them as. If you're curious about them, you can look them up yourself. The MIME types are application slash PGP or GPG hyphen encrypted. Next is Moving Pictures Expert Group, or MPEGs. These are audio MPEGs, .mpeg, and they're MPEG streaming audio, and they're just audio slash MPEG. Okay, this is just because MPEGs can also be movie files, which we'll talk about on the next slide. This is just if they contain audio. Next is MPEG video, or .mpeg. Same as the one for audio. They both can do different things, or they both can be two different formats, but they're the same file extension. This is streaming video, and this is video slash MPEG is the MIME type. WebM.WebM, this is a WebM video format. This is just another video file. Video slash WebM. MPEG audio layer 3, or yeah, this is this is your MP3. This is MP3 audio file format, and this is audio slash MP3 is the MIME type. Oak-Vorbis.ogg. This is the Oak-Vorbis audio file format. It's just another audio file type, and this is application slash OGG. WAV-Files.wav, and this is Windows digital audio format. There's two different MIME types that it can come in. It's just Windows audio files. That's all there is to it. RealPlayer.ram or .ra. These are audio and video files in the RealPlayer format. RealPlayer was a media type. It still exists, but it's not as popular as it once was. I remember back when I was younger using RealPlayer and having to download RealPlayer. Not as popular anymore, but it's still out there. Those have different MIME types, so keep that in mind. Word documents, .doc.docx, Microsoft Word, application slash ms-word. We know what that is. Excel files, .xls.xlsx, Microsoft Excel, application slash vnd.ms-excel is the MIME type. Good to know that one. We know what Excel files are. PowerPoint.ppt.pptx. This is a Microsoft PowerPoint file. Application slash vnd.ms-powerpoint is the MIME type. It's a PowerPoint file. We know that. The last one is unrecognized images. There is no file name extension because it might just be something. These are for any images and media that are not standardized, but it will have a MIME type application slash octet stream. These are for any new image files or image files that the computer may not recognize. Don't have to worry about that too much, but that's just in case it can't understand what it is. All right, now that was a lot of technical talk, and I know I went through it rather quickly. It's more so to get you familiar with the extension types because of the fact that you may upload them in your site, especially if you go and do what the whole unit is about business websites. You may encounter these types if you're developing a website for business, and you need to keep them in mind because they may pop up. You need to keep in mind too what we're going to talk about next, which is proprietary formats and evaluating their use. You may think that everyone has Microsoft Word. That's not always the case. Microsoft Word costs money, and not everyone can afford it because it can get rather expensive. I myself use um, Microsoft Word from work, so I don't pay for it. But if I didn't, it would be easily $100 a year, even that. Microsoft has moved towards a subscription service of charging yearly for Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint, um, and things like that. So you need to keep in mind, not everyone's going to have every single application that you may use. And so this next section talks about some of the important parts of evaluating. Do you actually need what you're going to, put on your website or not? Some of the file types mentioned are standard and don't require your system to have any special plugins, like HTML files, text files. Those all are going to be able to be read by very basic apps that are already installed, and most modern devices can read HTML files, CSS files, and can read web pages. Easy. Proprietary formats may require special plugins, but, sometimes you have to evaluate, is it going to make my website look better, or is it going to be worth the hassle? Some proprietary formats may support users with disabilities and can limit their ability to obtain information. So you want to make sure you check before using. The whole time we've been doing the unit, there's been a push for checking to see if it can support users with disabilities, and that's important. And you want to make sure you check and see that whatever you use, can it support everyone, okay? Some web native and simple formats are easily readable, like I just said. HTML files, text files, those are all basic and can be read by pretty much everything, and can be adapted for individuals who do have a disability. All right, there are some drawbacks to proprietary files. The first one is difficulty and inconvenience. You have to keep in mind your users of your website. If they have to download and install and maintain something, they're not going to want to do it, even if it's something simple, okay? They may not want to download the file. What are you going to do instead, okay? So you might also have some security issues with downloading things and using other different types of file formats. You really want to make sure you check with your development team, because if you're designing it, you're going to have other people who are doing other things technology related, like maintaining the web server and stuff like that. You're going to want to check with them. They'll be more of your experts and see if they can actually help you and answer your questions, like, can we actually use this? Other thing is cost. Some formats require a software purchase. I was talking about Microsoft Word, Office products. You want to consider free and open source, okay? The next is the audience limitation. Again, as I told you, recurring theme. For example, if you post a PDF document, you should probably provide a standard text document elsewhere so that users can convert it to audio. That's important, and you need to keep that in mind because PDF files don't always necessarily easily convert to audio, and people who may have disability who cannot see, you want them to be able to access it as well. So you need to keep that in mind whenever you're developing your web pages, and if you include any file formats on your page that someone may have to download or access, it's important to keep everyone in mind. Okay. All right, that's going to do it for this lesson.